few minutes late as well. So we'll just get going, and then whoever is left can join in. So I'll call us to order at 1:04. The agenda. Does anyone have any additions or deletions? Looks good. Can I get someone to move to adopt the agenda, please? Carrie, thank you. All in favor? Awesome. And minutes. Did everyone have a chance to take a look at the minutes that Nicole sent out? Was there anything you noticed on there that shouldn't be? Good. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes as well? Lauren, thank you. All in favor? Awesome. All right, so into business. First thing on our agenda was debriefing our mental health engagement month. I know it's still happening. It's May 20th, but wanted to talk through some of the different events and things that we had. I guess we should start probably with David Irvine, who was our kickoff to Mental Health Week. Did everyone have a chance to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were people's thoughts?
That was great. Really good.
Nicole, did we have final numbers?
I looked last week. I haven't checked yet this week, but we were at 163 views last week for that. But I'll check. Just give me 1 second. And 84 live?
Yeah. The live event was actually incredible. I don't know. We are getting way better at this, you guys, as a task force. I think the way that it was set up as a Facebook event made a huge difference to promotion and getting it out there. David, or I guess our first one was back to school, but David was one of our very first like live stream kind of big things. And I think at the time we had under 20 people live watching. So we increased by like significant, 400% the number of live views. So absolutely incredible.
My name is Kim Crowley.
We are at 176 views.
Awesome. I just heard my name's Kim Crock. I'm like,
Yeah.
something bad is happening here. So that's awesome. And we're still spreading it and sharing it. So it'll just go up. We keep directing people back to that landing page, which is awesome. Hi, Jeff.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. The Wi-Fi is down.
No worries. We're all kind of Natalia's having some glitches and Sandra's having glitches. Nobody could hear me at first. So it's just going to be one of those days, I think. We'll just get through this meeting and hopefully still have our dignity intact by the end, all of us. So.
I'm hotspotting through my phone, so I don't know if that's going to blow up my data, but we'll see. Lauren, you nodded. So are you already versed in this?
I'm doing the same thing because
Oh.
I'm at work and we don't have Wi-Fi. So
Huh. Okay. Well, if we both crash at the same time, it's because our data plans are the same.
yeah.
So we're just going through and reviewing mental health engagement. We're starting with David Irvine, just providing some feedback into his presentation. Anybody have anything that they want to throw in? How about the rest of the week? You guys are really quiet.
Well, I thought someone else was going to speak. So I thought David Irvine was awesome. Did you guys already talk about this?
Little bit.
But yeah, I just, good measure for me personally is if my wife likes it. And I mean, I think that's how everybody should go through life, right? Everybody's like, yeah. So anyways, she in her coaching job shared out that our presentation with her entire swim club, just found it so valuable that the message that David had and on mental health, and it seemed to really resonate with a lot of the issues that they were dealing with. Like, I just thought it was so appropriate, so different, such a different, I guess, aspect of looking at mental health from a completely different organization, and how applicable it was. So I'd share that feedback that they really enjoyed it. She got a lot of feedback from different individuals that shared how much it helped them. So
That's so good to hear. I loved his spin. Like, he was just so personal and shared. It wasn't from a clinical perspective like a lot of speakers come in at. It was just really personal and relatable. And we heard tons of really great feedback as well. What about the rest of the week? Are you guys hearing anything? Are you got your balls?
Do we still have lots of balls left over?
I'm actually locked out of the FCSS building right now, so I can't even access the balls. When it went into lockdown, we split into 2 separate teams, and we're not allowed to enter the facility that we're not assigned to. So I'm at the FRN and I'm stuck here until restrictions lift.
Well, so for those that didn't get any, they can still go pick them up?
I burned through a couple already. I might need some replenishments.
Yeah, I think they've been a good reminder. Nicole and I were talking, I don't know if it was this week or last week, about, and I hope it was to you, but making a poster just about like mental health and the importance of looking after yourself, so we can actually have something. And we were going to buy some baskets and take them out and share them kind of throughout the community with a note, so they have some meaning behind why they're getting it. So that's on our agenda as soon as I can get back in the building.
Good
Hopefully
idea.
that's soon.
Yeah. Yeah, but really good articles in the newspaper. I think the newspaper and the radio both picked it up pretty good, and we got some good promotion. I know the Facebook page with the tips has been really good. The tips are coming out every day in terms of different ways to look after yourself, and we're still in the newspaper every week. So hopefully this gave people, I guess, a glimmer of hope during these times.
So Kim, for those Facebook things, you have to go looking for it? Or if you like it, does it come to you?
Nicole can probably answer that better, but if you like it, I believe it should. Like, it's just building into my regular feed. So
Yep, that's correct. If it's set up as an event, so if you say you're interested or going to the event, it should come up in your timeline throughout your feed.
Somehow I've been missing it, but
Oh,
probably me.
So hopefully it's just given a little bit of a hope. FCSS is also doing the scavenger hunt this month as well. All the information is available on the website, but you can download the scavenger hunt forms and maps, and you can either walk throughout the community and look for certain things, or you can do it right from your home as well. If you're stuck in quarantine or isolation, it works both ways. And then some really amazing prizes as well are available. We've noticed pickup has been really slow. So I don't know if it's the times or just where people are at, how people are feeling, but it hasn't, not as big as we thought it would be.
When does it start, Kim?
It started beginning of the month and it runs for the whole month of May. So we're still promoting. Did you see what Lauren held up? She had the actual copy of the scavenger hunt right there. So you can just download it, and people can do it at their own pace. And then when you're done, there's little prizes that you can win kind of along the way, or you can submit and get entered into a draw for some pretty big prizes. And we had really great sponsorship. So we're hoping it picks up a little bit. So help us continue to spread the word on that. Any other feedback overall around Mental Health Week, month, year?
I think just one more, and it's really maybe not anything we've done specifically, but I think the task force has helped shine a light on it. And that is that everybody is suffering in some ways from some mental health fatigue right now. I've been calling it the COVID dust layer, right? It's like this layer of dust that's settled on everything that you got to blow off to get to the whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a simple task of, going in to get something from a restaurant, closed. If it's, hey, let's go. Oh, we can't do that anymore. Just the fact that everybody's in this together. I think there was a bit of a solidarity piece with Mental Health Week that I think everybody, for maybe the first time in a long time, maybe in history, that everybody could say, I got some of that going on. So I thought that was really good. That at least maybe people are coming to terms with it or addressing it or admitting it, something. So I thought that was a good outcome of Mental Health Week, at least from my perspective.
I'd have to agree, because usually with mental health, it's somebody over there that you don't really know or you're not real connected to, but now it's all of us, we're all in it.
I think that's actually one of the positives. There has been some positives from COVID, and that's one of them, is the fact that we are talking about it, and not with the same stigma, right, attached to it. It's we're all kind of experiencing this, and so I don't know what the answers are to get us all through it, but I think the conversations are helping hugely.
I would agree. I think everyone's asking more, how are you doing mentally? Like, it's not, something that you ask about somebody else or anything. I think it's just a more open conversation now, which is really good.
Yeah, I agree, Natalia. Any other comments before we keep moving through? All right, so engagement surveys is next on the agenda. So I want to talk this one through a little bit with this group. So last time we met, we went through the resident engagement survey, nailed it down, drilled down questions, that whole piece. And then Nicole and I were taking a look and we were getting it ready to go and figuring it all out. And we kind of stopped and said, is timing good right now to put out a resident survey? The reason we're asking this question is, at this point in time, if we put it out, are we as a task force expecting to get anything different in terms of data than what we've received already? I'm thinking specifically to the last survey that was put out November, December, when the last set of restrictions came into place. And I thought I'd open it up for discussion and see what other people's thoughts are.
I think it's a bit early myself. Was it June that we did last year? So at least after the restrictions are lifted and people are sort of back with some hope would be helpful. Before July though, because then they're off on holidays.
That was our thoughts too. Sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree.
Right.
It's too early.
Sorry, Terry.
I think it's too early. There's still like a lot of COVID flu out there, right? People are in COVID fatigue. And I think this last round took a lot out of people. And I think that's why people, the positive piece was, it's like, mental health is a universal issue. It can hit any one of us, and none of us are victorious over it, right? It's about that, that mutual supporting one another. So I think with having it too soon, you're not going to get the after effects. You won't be able to measure things in the ways I think that we would hope to.
Jeff, you unmuted.
Yeah, I just, this is a little bit of a bigger question, I guess, than specific to the survey. But when I think about survey, then I think about results. And then I think about What are we going to do with the results? And then I start thinking about our terms of reference and our date that we're backing into quickly. I think it's June, if I'm not mistaken. And by no means am I trying to say that I think that this task force should or shouldn't do anything further, but I just, that's where my mind's going. It's what's the next steps for this group? Is there something tangible that we can do, even if we did a survey? Are we able to do something with the results? If so, what is it? So, and really, I think that's fresh on my mind because we had the Economic Recovery Task Force meeting yesterday, and that group completely different. I think I've mentioned that a few times around this table. Different set of issues that we're kind of dealing with, obviously related, but somewhat different. And we hadn't actually met as a task force since January. So we made the decision yesterday that there's enough systems and processes in place throughout economic development, the chamber, et cetera, that we could maybe back away as a group and we don't need to be active anymore. So it just got me thinking about, I wonder what we're going to talk about. So I don't know if that's on the agenda. Actually, I didn't see it on there, but is it? Oh,
Underneath.
shoot.
So why don't we?
I'm sorry.
Why don't we jump ahead? Because I do think that's actually a really important, valid point, is to talk about the continuation. So maybe we'll jump there and then we can backtrack as well. But I'm interested in getting people's thoughts. So the task force was extended until the end of June, I believe is the date that it was formally extended to. But I was really interested in hearing people's thoughts and maybe going around the table and seeing where people are sitting in terms of the task force. Are we similar to the economic task force where we have run our course, we've done some really great things and there are systems in place to continue? Is there a rationale for us to continue? I'm really interested in hearing where people sit. So why don't we do a roundtable and get everybody's thoughts and ideas?
If I've already got my microphone open, so I'll just continue that thought. Thank you. And I'm not going to share my opinion. I'm just going to share what we heard at the other task force yesterday. Was there was a lot of discussion around, there's obviously still a need. We don't know the outcomes of COVID yet. We don't know what the impacts are going to be socially, economically. I think that applies across the globe. But we felt with that particular group that there was enough programs and initiatives in place, and some of the things that we've done there. For example, marketing of the safe, open and safe program for businesses still applies and is still being followed and is still going to be ramped up by economic development when we can get to that stage. So is there any more work for the task force? No. So we felt like we've really reached our mandate and there was really no more that we could do to help business in particular. So maybe we would let Mike and his team in economic development have the capacity that he's using by having a task force to apply to the businesses. So that was kind of the determination at that group. So just if that helps for context with anyone. Now I'm going to mute.
Before you mute, do you want to weigh in on the social recovery task force as well? Or do you want to go around and then end with you, Jeff?
I can jump in. I don't know really what my answer is. I think that there's been a lot that we've done through this task force that has been very beneficial, and we've done a great job of working together. I think maybe we can look at, what do we really want to do moving forward, and are we able to still support each other in those ventures, and do we need a task force for that. I think that there's still so many unknowns about moving forward and what's going to happen that I see benefit in us meeting. I don't know what our purpose might be moving forward, or how sort of we continue to work together. But I do like how we take on that collaborative approach to trying to find some solutions in the community.
Awesome.
I would agree with Lauren for sure on that. There's a need, and the collaborativeness of this group has really been great. Do we have, or I guess, is it easy to pull up our mandate again and the goals we wanted to reach to see if we've met everything that we were planning to help make the decision?
I think Nicole's on it. She's
Okay.
far away looking somewhere different. So we'll have those pulled up shortly.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to weigh in while we're waiting? Oh, Nicole got it. So we were to conduct environmental scans to identify service gaps and emerging needs. And I think we can say we did a really good job of that in terms of 2 resident surveys and the organizational survey. Provide advice about social issues and identify priority areas. I don't know if that one's ever achievable, but I think we've done a good chunk of that. Build and support networks and systems for all Cochranites, bring together people and agencies supporting residents to collaborate and coordinate coordinate response and recovery, advocate for programs and opportunities to support the health and wellness of Cochrane residents, assess funding needs and work with other orders of government on funding supports required for town and partner services, and work collaboratively with the Economic Recovery Task Force.
It seems to me that most of this is very similar to the work that FCSS does day to day. And, you guys have taken on the bulk of the work. We've been able to be a sounding board and do some of the activities, but with summer coming and election this fall, I don't know how helpful we will be. And it's maybe one more layer of sort of getting in the way of you guys because you know what you need to do and you're doing it. It's been an awesome experience, and I think we've supported each other in the community, but it just feels like maybe it is time to wind it down.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on your comment, Susan. I would agree. I think, we've met what we set out to do. I think we have some supports in place, not only with the data that we have that we've achieved through the surveys, but we also have the technology, the extra branch and layer of technology that we have, in our building that we can use to provide additional training. And we've had some really successful grant applications. I think we've done a really good job of letting people know what, universal mental health is. Like we all have to take care of it, and we have to take care of each other and our families and our community. And none of us are not prone to what we see and what we feel. And so I think like we need to do doing another survey, but we could take the results from the surveys and use it. So I don't know, I'm just thinking like strategic planning. You can take some of those pieces and possibly integrate them in there. So yeah, I would it's sort of a parallel to what Jeff is saying as well. So that would be my sense. I think we could wind it down.
Awesome. Thanks, Terry. And Sandra, we haven't heard from you.
It's I've got really unstable internet for some reason today, so you guys freeze. I miss some of what you say, so I'm kind of hear bits and pieces. But yeah, it would seem to me that we've accomplished most of what the terms of reference indicated. I last night was on the Big Hill Haven webinar for an hour and a half, and the amazing presentation that Wendy and Amanda did about the resources through FCSS. And I work in the building. I think I know what you guys do, but it's even bigger than I even imagined. And I think that the work the FCSS is doing covers the hitting the ground running, which is what we really need at this time. I think we've done a media awareness campaign that's been very successful, so people know where to go, and just continuing to support the groups doing the foot soldier work is the best thing that we could do right now, even above what a survey will give us going forward. I'm not so sure if it's valuable at this point in time.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sandra. And last but not least, Nicole.
I'm good. I don't have, I didn't prepare to say anything, but I agree with everything that we're saying that has been said. It's a lot of what we already do a lot of the time. So,
Awesome. Are you saying goodbye? Or are you just leaving right now, or you want to speak?
I'm putting my hand up. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to go last, but I didn't want to share my thoughts first either. But I agree with what everybody's saying, but there's a yeah, but. And that is, and Lauren kind of touched on it, that there's been great, I don't know, I think I've talked about it almost every meeting, how great you guys are. And it's just like, I just said to the CAO, I said, I got to go to my support meeting now. And he said, what? I'm like, yeah, it's the Social Recovery Task Force. And anyways, I joke about that, but it's true. I have really enjoyed this group, and I think we've done awesome work. And I think, and I said this yesterday at the other task force, is it's not like we can't come back together. It's not like we could, it actually might be easier if we're not a mandated council task force and we just say, you know, Kim, you guys need some ideas that you want to bounce off of a group. You call, you know, ad hoc social recovery, or maybe we call it the social recovered task force. I don't know. But you know what I mean, right? Like I think we all see value in sharing with one another, and what's stopping us from doing that, even just as individuals, right? So it's not like if we say no, or we don't need this task force anymore, we can't kind of create our own, help group on our own. The other thing is, I think if that is the direction that this task force takes, is to say, okay, we don't really need a mandate anymore. We need to be careful with the messaging of that back to council and to the community about, it's not that there isn't a need. It's just that this group is not the group that needs to fulfill the need anymore. There's FCSS, there's, all of the groups that are around this table have been doing this great work all the time, every day, every year, in and out of the pandemic. So I think now is our chance to actually maybe shine a light on that too, right? And Kim, I think that's been part of your mandate of late, is to, educate people about what it is that FCSS is doing. Well, here's another platform to do that. But I would hate to do it like, needs gone, COVID's gone. We don't, there's no social problems anymore, so we don't need a task force, right? And I'm really being dramatic in saying that, but I think we need to be careful with messaging if that's the outcome.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think it's pretty obvious that we are all kind of on the same page in terms of, we've done some really, truly amazing work at this table. And I think we all should be incredibly proud of what has come out. It will be, I think it might be our year anniversary this month, actually, that we've all been together. But when you look at what the community's been through over the past year, what our response has been, how much work has actually come out of this particular task force. Like, it's actually really incredible. You guys all touched on kind of different pieces, but thinking back, I don't know if you remember our first meeting. I was so scared our first meetings. I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do, but so quick we rallied. We came up with 2 surveys within, I think, 3 months, 2 to 3 months anyways. Had feedback from residents, from organizations, and we literally just got to work. And we did speaker series, we had resources, the CARES app, like all of that was just so like coming together, and the technology, the grants that we applied for, like it's actually really phenomenal. Like, we're a group of doers, right? We're not just sitting around talking about stuff. We did, and we did a whole lot. But I'm on the same page with everybody. I do think FCSS is very equipped to kind of pick up and kind of take over. This is our mandate, and we're kind of doing this alongside of the task force work anyways. So completely support that decision. And I agree with you all too when we talk about like how collaborative this group has been, and I don't want to see that come to an end, so we can see what that looks like. We'll have to maybe do some brainstorming if we want to have another meeting next month, or if this is it. I don't know what that's going to look like, but we can definitely figure it out, because I think with all of our different backgrounds and organizations, we've really been a force this year. So super proud of the work, you guys. Don't know if anyone has anything else they want to throw in, or
Well, I think the group is sort of a testament to what we try and do in the community, is get people connected who need to be together and to accomplish things and feel supported. And I think for myself, just being in this group there, it felt like you've got a group of natural supports. You have a diverse range of thoughts and interests, but a common desire. And, in terms of making things, building things stronger and making them better, and retaining that connection. So not having it formal would be great. And, perhaps if there was another way of keeping people together, if we need to, brainstorm some ideas and strategies, it just makes work a lot lighter, but the support a lot stronger.
I guess the communication is really important. If we decide that it's disbanding, we don't want to put out the survey in the name of the Social Recovery Task Force. It looks really bad that you ask the question and then you take off. But if it came out under the FCSS umbrella, or we could keep it formal until September and give it a chance to work itself out and see if anything else comes up that we should be working on. Just my last thoughts.
Kim, did I hear you say that, oh, there's Shara. Hello. Did I hear that you said that you would do a survey anyways, and that you would do it through FCSS, and that maybe there would be a way of tying in some of your, or is it Terry saying the strategic planning work?
So we are working on our strategic planning for FCSS. We didn't get it out. Nicole and I have been going crazy this morning in hopes, like doing questions and stuff. One of my needs is to do a check-in with all of our organizations again, just to see where people are at. We only did one survey with the organizations, and that was back in July of 2020. So I want to do a follow-up and just check in to see where our nonprofits are, how they're doing, what does programming look like, what support do they need? Because part of our strategic planning is just ramping up that support that we provide, trying to build capacity in the community and make sure all of our nonprofits have what they need. So that's a survey that I'm hoping to get out by the end of this month. Whether it comes out under FCSS or the task force, I'm good to do that. Either way, I think people will still respond to an FCSS survey. I'm hoping, even though it might not be as like big and fancy as a social recovery task force, but I think we'll still be able to get the responses. And in terms of the resident survey, I would love to do one, but I don't want to do it right now, just because I don't think anything has changed since December, November. And in fact, I think we might even be a little bit of a worse state now than we even were then, just because I believe back in, I don't even know what month it is now, May, back in March, we all had a level of optimism that the warm weather was coming, that the vaccines were rolling out, that things were going to be different, that we were moments away from freedom. And then we're not, right? And we're actually in almost the same predicament as we were a year ago. So I think that took a big toll on people's mental health. And I don't want to do another survey and capture how horrible people are doing. Not that I want to do one when it's all roses either, but I don't think this is a realistic snapshot. It is of a piece of time, but I don't think this piece is going to give us anything new or different or to work with. So I'm more interested in putting out an organizational survey than I would be a resident survey at this time. I don't know what other people's thoughts are, if you have a preference, rather like it coming out of FCSS or the last thing the task force does. Open to suggestions and ideas from this team for sure.
I like the idea of it being the last thing the task force does, because we already asked them once, the organization, so we could ask again, and maybe there will be something that we can figure out to do that we hadn't thought of before, or something new.
And with the organizational one, I don't know if it would be as much task force. I'm hoping potentially it might provide us with some advocacy for funding, or if there's something jointly that organizations need across the spectrum, could we apply, could we like leverage this data to do something bigger for the community, similar to like the Red Cross United Way grant that we were able to get, where numerous organizations reap the benefits from one technology grant. So that's kind of where I'm looking. And I think like in terms of the task force, it might be a nice way to end to just doing a follow-up. And then this is something that we definitely built into our strategic planning, and our team could get to work on and see if there's areas that we could support.
You did that in June, Kim, and then worked on it kind of over the summer, and then did a final presentation to council in September. Would those timelines kind of work?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were hoping, we almost have the questions drilled down. We're so close, but we can send them out to this group via email and get them out probably by tomorrow to everybody to just have a peek at, take a look, see what your thoughts are. Look through it from the lens of your own organization too. And is there anything missing that you can think of? I want to just get some really, really good data from this. And then, yeah, we'd only leave it open probably for a couple of weeks, because I know if people don't respond to emails right away, they actually never do. And then we just delete them once they get too old. So we're going to just keep it open for 2 weeks and hopefully have some data. So if we chose to meet again in June, we should be able to bring that back. We're just going to put it out through SurveyMonkey. It's not as complex as the data analyzing that we have to do from a resident survey, and we could review that as at a task force at our last inaugural meeting, if that's what we wanted to do. Jeff.
Last thing, what I don't have a preference whether it be a task force survey or FCSS, but I'm happy to land on either. But I think as part of our duties back to council as a formal task force, we should probably expect to have a report at a council meeting. I could see your shoulders dropping, Kim, while I'm saying this. So you have to work on your poker face. But we should just do a summary of all the great things we've done as a group. And then to the point that I was making earlier about, that the need's still there, just the group feels that FCSS and the other support groups in the community are well equipped to handle them at this time, and do that formal handoff in June as well. So I think Mike is preparing a similar presentation, so maybe on the same council meeting.
Okay, and that's in June's Mike's going forward, Jeff?
Yeah, what day is it? 20th. Yeah, so we've already set our agenda for next Monday. So it would be one of the 2 meetings in June. It doesn't have to be the same one, but it would make sense. And I think it kind of takes because we were really worried as the Economic Recovery Task Force of the optics of people saying, oh, you guys are quitting on the community. And that's not the case at all. So if both task forces came back together and had the same message, that we're kind of handing the baton to, the respective groups to carry now, that maybe that helps one another, since that's in our terms of reference.
Absolutely. I'll check in with Mike, with Mike and see what day he's going forward, and then can definitely do that.
I don't think it has to be like a huge, long, presentation. I think it could be, almost to what you said earlier. We did this, we did that, we did that, we did this. We were great support for one another. We've, ...
No, I'm trying to shorten my presentations these times. I'm getting better. I think last time I was like 17 minutes, but apparently I still have some improvements to make on that. Nicole.
I was wondering if we should fill Shara in on what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, poor Shara just joined and you guys are disbanding.
What?
Sorry, we had our AGM and board meeting right before this, so sorry for being late.
No worries. We actually were talking about continuation of the task force. So I don't know if you remember, the task force was extended until June 30th, 2021. And we just did a bit of a roundtable check-in to see how people felt in terms of what we'd accomplished. Should we continue? What does this look like? And I think consensus, although I'll get you to weigh in as well, Shara, was that the task force has accomplished an incredible amount of work. And it may make sense to start winding this down and having FCSS kind of take over some of this work. Not that social recovery isn't still happening and won't be happening probably for years and years to come as we kind of navigate our way after COVID, but that this fits very, very well into FCSS's mandate and is the work that our team is doing. So that was kind of our conversation, but I'd love to hear your perspective as well.
I think that fits. I think this has been a great opportunity. So whether it looked like every 2 or 3 or even 4 months where our organizations got together to have some conversations about what's going on in the community would be really beneficial. Because I think that the perspective that each individual organization and team member brought was so beneficial, but we are doing our own things in the community right now, and we're working together, but separately. And I think I would love to see coming back together every once in a while, just to touch base and see how we can work together in our own organizations.
You hit the nail on the head. That was actually brought up by people, and apparently we're Jeff's support group as well, so we can't fully disband. But and we talked about how do we do this informally, because everyone around the table has said how valuable this is, just to be able to brainstorm. We all see different things. We work with different populations in the community. So I think that would be incredibly valuable. What I can commit to is getting us all together, and we'll do lunch once we're actually allowed to do lunch in person. We're not going to eat at our computers and do that thing. I will expect that everyone wears pants to the meeting. We're going to sit around a real table, and we'll have some real conversation and do lunch, hopefully once things lift up, maybe closer to like end of August, early September. We'll get together, if that sounds good to everybody. I see some nods. Some people are reluctant to throw pants on, maybe, but we'll see. But thanks, Shara. Yeah, it was like said all the way around, just what a hugely valuable group this was. And I think I am going to miss it too. It's been an incredible amount of work for me and our team, but it's been incredibly valuable to have all of us working together and knowing that we're not alone in this. And I'm speaking on behalf of FCSS, that this all didn't kind of fall on our shoulders. It was nice to have everybody working together and all of this support as we navigated this. So thank you to everyone. Well, I kind of don't know where to go. I don't know, like, are we done? Do we ever come back? In terms of surveys, are we good with continuation? Everyone, do I need a motion? Do I need to do anything, Nicole? Does anyone know?
No, we shouldn't. Probably a motion for deciding to sort of disband. Anytime we make a decision, we need a motion, is what's been said.
Is that how the other committee handled it, Jeff?
No, and thank you. I was just about to speak to that. Our terms of reference is only set until the end of June. So really we just let it expire. So in Kim's report back to council, it would just be our recommendation to council is to let the terms of reference expire for these reasons, right? So we don't really need to decide anything other than if we wanted them to extend it, right? But I don't know where we landed with the survey though, or are you?
I was going to jump back to that.
Okay. I'm going to mute.
We're all over the agenda, so we just have been jumping everywhere. So we will go back to engagement surveys, and I think I heard consensus from everybody that timing was not good right now for a resident survey. Are we good to pause that for the time being, and then when the timing feels, I guess, better or more right, and we're feeling like we need some data from the community, that FCSS would put out the resident survey just as plain old FCSS? Yeah. Okay. And then the organizational survey is the one that I'm looking for some input and feedback as well from people. The organizational survey is one that I feel is really important, specifically for FCSS, to help guide some of our future direction, figure out where we're going, what supports organizations need. And it's pretty critical right now. I'm just kind of in the midst of finalizing some of our strategic planning and our direction. I want to make sure that I'm building in some of these pieces. But I'm also open to having it come either from FCSS or the task force, whichever people feel is most appropriate.
I really don't like the idea of the task force sending it out and then disbanding. It just doesn't feel right to me. Unless there's a way to explain it in the beginning, that FCSS will be dealing with whatever comes back, but other thoughts?
I agree, Susan.
You guys so know I'm good to sit in uncomfortable, awkward silence for long periods. Sandra agrees as well. Lauren, Shara, Natalia, Terry, Terry's thumbs up.
Yeah, I would agree as well.
So we'll do the organizational one through FCSS. Perfect, which actually does make a lot of sense because it'll be us kind of dealing with all the information that we get from that. So so I guess I don't even need to send it to you guys but you know what? I actually think I will anyways, because I'd love to get some feedback and input into that. So we will send you out the survey probably tomorrow. It might even be early next week because our timelines won't be as tight. And I'd love if you would take a look through the survey. What I'm hoping to accomplish is get a good understanding of the challenges organizations have faced, kind of the current status, and those areas that they need the most support in, whether it's training or like some mentorship or one-on-one support, any of those areas to help guide some of our work. So if you would take a look at what we've put together with a bit of a critical lens and get me your feedback, I would really appreciate that.
Kim, was there anything outstanding from the first survey that you wish you could have done something about, or we just didn't have control over, that we should address or at least comment on in the next survey?
I think for the most part, what came back was mental health was the biggest piece. You're talking the resident survey or the organizational survey, Susan?
The organizational one.
No, we responded actually incredibly well to that one. FCSS did. We didn't do it necessarily as a task force, but we developed training around all the different areas that people identified. So we did business continuity planning. We did some strat planning sessions. We did a lot of training specifically around what people were looking for. We also created a place on our website where people could access information on grants and resources and all the different changing health stuff and restrictions. So we tried to create a one-stop shop for organizations. So no, I think we responded pretty well to the information that we received.
Excellent answer. That could be part of your report too.
So yeah, no, that piece, I just want to dig a little bit deeper. I don't think when we put out that first organizational survey, it was very focused on funding, where people were losing revenue, those type of things. And we weren't able to influence that necessarily through FCSS. So I'm drilling down more into the areas that we can actually influence and provide support that fit within our mandate. Awesome. Well, the only thing left is round table, you guys. Who wants to kick us off? Are you pointing at Sandra? You might have a different screen than I have, Jeff. All right, we're going to go alphabetically. Shara.
I was like, someone has to have a name that starts with something before C.
No Amy on the committee, Shara, so I'm sorry.
We had an amazing food drive on the weekend. So we collected 15 giant pumpkin bins of food, and we were able to do it with just 4 unloaders. And everything went according to plan, except for we had a couple missed routes, which is bound to happen. But the community, as always, was just so generous and amazing. So we are hoping that restrictions will open a little bit more. So in June, we don't have to keep it so limited, but it went really well, and the food bank will be topped up until at least June. And our free food shed is going amazing. People are actually taking now. They were just donating. The only thing we're really working on is having people understand that they can donate perishables and frozen goods. Just as a community, we're used to donating non-perishables. So we're focusing on the donation of perishables, and that we are not judging what need looks like. So it is open to anyone at any time. I'll go down there and drop some things off and pick up some things. Like there was a small thing, coconut water. I'm like, oh, I could use this one at home. And so it is open to everyone. It's to reduce the food waste in the community, but also fill all the bellies. And we work really closely with the food bank right now. So we're switching off items, things that they can't use for their hampers, they're donating to us. Things we're finding in the food shed that they need, we'll be giving to them. So it's such a great partnership.
I just want to say I love that about the reducing food waste. I don't think I really read that in any of the articles or the information unless I missed it, but I think it's a great message because it would have never occurred to me to go and trade something.
Yeah, and so many people will pick up like a big box of granola bars, or you're heading out camping and there's going to be some produce in your fridge that is going to expire before you get back. Take it down there on the way and pick up something else for your road trip.
So good, and so many great comments. I've been watching it on social media too, and the excitement is incredible. So good work, you guys. Thanks, Shara. Next is Jeff. Jay.
I did the alphabet math a long time ago, so I've been
You're ready.
scurrying around trying to prepare my speech. Thanks. Yeah, I just have a small thing to build on the food bank. One thing I missed about the food drives was, and this just happened organically, nothing I set up, but I think it's hilarious. Every time I volunteered down there and was at the rec center, at the church, and I'd always come across some random piece of food that I'm like shocked someone would donate this. And I took a selfie every time that happened. So I have this, and I was gonna do a montage someday about random things I found at the food bank. And one of them's like quail eggs. It's in a can. Like I had no idea that you could get quail eggs in a can. But one of the things the pandemic has taken away from us is that opportunity. So I miss those days. But
you'll have to volunteer to sort. That's when we find the unusual items, like frozen thawed products.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I miss those days of just fooling around, having a good time, volunteering. So anyways, I don't really have a report other than I'm just going to share how much I've appreciated this group. I don't know where we landed, if we're meeting next month or are we, Kim? We don't know? Okay. Well, I think we should. Just even if it's just like just to say goodbye, right? And maybe a little closure, but not goodbye, like see you later, right?
Celebration next
Yeah.
month.
So I have really appreciated, I joke about the support group. I hope you guys know that's a joke, but I do have, really appreciated the efforts, getting to know each of you a little better, understanding a little better about what each of your organizations does and do for our community. And I'm just overwhelmed and in awe of, not surprised, but overwhelmed and in awe of the the people and the power that we have with the groups of residents and people like around this table. So thank you guys for everything. Mic drop.
Pick it up. The Cochrane Courthouse is just about finishing up its renovations. So I think we will be able to start getting in there and utilizing the new court space on the bottom floor. We went there yesterday and took a bit of a tour, and it looks really, really nice. So we're definitely excited to be getting in there. It looks a lot like Calgary, but in a Cochrane feel. And aside from that, I'm in the office, so I'm gonna jump off here quickly because there's some phone calls going on. But we updated the Cochrane Cares app. And so now we have 2 URLs for it, the old one, but we also have CochraneCares.com, and that will go straight to the app. And that's it for me for now.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. Natalia.
Are we skipping you, Kim?
It's the pleasure of sharing.
Okay.
You make your own rules.
I like that this is the first time we've actually decided to go through the alphabet. I would say it's really been a pleasure, getting to work with all of you. It has given me a greater sense of community too, definitely. So I've really enjoyed that. In regards to the Rotary Club, the young professionals are coming really back together. We kind of stopped through COVID. So we are actually building our memberships now, and we do have some plans for summer events such as the golf tournament, the outhouse race, and those. So we're in the process of planning all that. So yeah, that's our update. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalia. This alphabet thing is harder than it looks, you guys. Nicole.
It was like same first letter. Yeah, nothing really to update, but I have enjoyed the task force and getting to know everybody even just that little bit more and getting to do something kind of a little different. So, but yeah, I've been out of the office the last couple of weeks, working from home, plugging away. So just doing that. That's all.
Thanks, Nicole. Sandra.
Yes, Big Hill Haven, we have been busy for sure. Lots of calls and a lot of need, of course, for domestic violence services. We have a new housing coordinator. Her name is Jenna, and I think this would be about her 3rd week now. So she's getting familiar with the processes and working with clients now and helping Patty out, which is much needed. We are still running our Biz for Her campaign. And in the fall, I believe the very last weekend of August, we're doing Cruise for Her again. So that's the drivers, the cars, trucks, whatever. And then we have a really exciting fundraiser we're in the process of working on. I'm not sure I should talk too much about it, but it should be online by July, and that one's going to be really exciting for our group and helping us expand our programming even more. And our informal support training that's been happening on Wednesday nights has been a complete hit. We have 2 more out of the 5 sessions to come. We're done on June 2nd. It's been really well put together. I'm so impressed with how much work the board and Patty have put into it. And I'm hoping everybody who's attended has really gained knowledge, and we're hoping to continue in one form or another with similar programming. And that's all.
So good. I've heard really good feedback too, Sandra, about the presentations that are happening. And they're all being recorded, correct?
Yes, yes, they are. I'm not very techy, so I'm not sure how you access them, but we should continue to put that information out on our website because the one thing people, I think a few people have commented is that you sign up for each week individually, not for the whole 5 sessions at one time. So if you've signed up for one and didn't get access to the second, it's because it's a sign up each week. So go online and sign up again for the next one. So, but yeah, it's been a real good program for our community.
Awesome, thank you. And Susan.
Thank you. I took the first Big Hill Haven workshop and it was really awesome. But then I kind of forgot about it and I haven't seen any more advertising, so I missed out. I'll have to look it up. I just wanted to thank everybody for all the hard work over the last year and getting to know people. It's really been a great experience. And if I had to go through COVID, I'm glad to go through it with you guys. And I'm hoping our final meeting, maybe we can do it on a patio if things open up a little bit. In June, I'm doing an article for the newspaper, and I think it's going to be about seniors. So if you have any information that you'd like seniors to know about any of your groups, let me know and I'll try to fit it in. That's about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. I would connect with Hillary. She might be able to give you some really good stuff about Seniors Week and some of the fun things that are happening. And Miss Terry.
Yeah, this has been an amazing experience. I wasn't sure what to expect. I sort of came on very reluctantly because I'm like, oh, there's a lot of it was new and a lot of it was some areas that I hadn't worked in for a very, very long time. So I got to, make the uncomfortable comfortable, which felt like you're making more of yourself and allowing some other parts to die off. So that was good. So yeah, it's been wonderful getting to know everybody at a deeper level. We work, a little bit with one another in the community and within our agencies, but to sit across the table and across Zoom from so many people who are genuinely, sincerely and compassionately concerned about their community and their fellow neighbor has been nothing more than a godsend for me. So thank you, everyone. And as far as anything else to share, business as usual here. I'm so grateful to be in the office. It's like everyone across here, we all want to break down complex stuff and just get at her. So this has been more than what I was looking for. So thank you.
Thanks, Terry. I forgot how hard it was to get you on this task force. The memories from a year ago. Everybody said it, but I do want to also just genuinely thank everybody for their time. This has been a really great experience. I honestly don't have great words. I remember when the task force was first announced, I was actually terrified. I think Jeff, you can probably speak to that because I think I cornered you and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. He's like, you can do this. You can do this. But this has been a whole new experience for me as well, kind of leading this. So I just want to thank everyone for their patience. All of that. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm really proud of the work that's happened. I think we can say we've made a huge, significant impact on the community in so many different measurable ways, which I think is really, really incredible. So just want to thank everybody for bringing your passion, given the time, your ideas, and just working so hard to get this off the ground and making such an incredible difference. In terms of updates, I don't have a whole lot. We are open which is incredible for our team. Both FCSS and the FRN remained open. We're still seeing clients in person. We're still doing our thing, which is pretty incredible. Our team is running up against some really big barriers with organizations that aren't open. Because the role that our team plays is system navigation. So people come in, they don't know where to start. We direct and try to link them up to different places. It's a big part of our job, and it's really hard to link people up to doors that are closed. It's been a huge challenge. Terry could probably speak better to it, but things like Alberta Supports and some of our government programs, their doors are closed, they're locked, and we're given a 1-800 number. And we're struggling to get through. We're struggling to get support for our clients. The work that would normally be, hey, make an appointment and walk down the street, is now taking us hours and hours of sitting on hold, going back and forth, trying to navigate that. So we are going into some advocacy work right now, where we're writing some letters and trying to get things open a little bit. So Jeff, you may hear from me one of these days for some support to help get this moving with us, because it's huge, heavy lifting for our team. Like poor Terry spent, I think, 3 or 4 hours on something that would normally have been a 15-20 minute support piece. So yeah, we're just hitting some of those roadblocks, but still lots of good work. Our calls are very steady, and people are looking for support in a whole lot of areas. Financial needs are growing in the community. Housing, Sandra, you could probably speak about that too, but we're struggling. Wait lists for housing are incredible. With the housing market the way that it is, homes are being sold, residents are losing their housing in basement suites and some of those secondary suites. So they're finding themselves either without a home, or if they're able to stay, rent is being increased so much that they're not able to actually maintain their housing. So lots of those kind of things, lots of struggles with utilities, and you name it, we're kind of seeing it right now. So that's kind of a quick and dirty, but needs are growing, and I think we're just going to continue to see it. And I think once some of the government programs and support stops as well, that's going to be the huge impact organizationally. But on that note, it's going to be a long weekend, and it's Thursday, so let's end on a high, you guys. Don't want to be a downer. But yeah, I think as collectively, it'll be important for us to remain in touch, because the needs are continuing to grow, and we all overlap in different ways. And I think collectively we'll be able to come up with some good strategies and solutions. So next month, are people still wanting to get together if we do some kind of celebratory meeting? Maybe not a formal one, but we'll come up with something.
Something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. All right, wait for it. We'll come up with something great, you guys.
Well, maybe to end on a positive, Kim, all of the things that you've touched on are true. We're all dealing with that. That's not to sugarcoat anything, but there is a lot of good and great things happening in Cochrane. We've got business licenses are up over last year, actually over 2019 even. The council got a quick snapshot on new home sales, and you referenced the the market right now is crazy, but I think I forget what the actual number was, Susan, maybe you can correct me, but I think it was 165 new homes in the first quarter built in Cochrane, and everybody's like, is that good? Is that a lot? It's kind of reflective of 2018 numbers, so it's that's a positive thing. People are, there's obvious pressures that that brings, but people are wanting to be in Cochrane still. People are building homes. That's meaning that trades are working, and people are, there's a lot of good stories behind the scenes that are just kind of happening that unfortunately more and more people I talk to are not really eager to share their good news because they feel bad to do so. Back to that whole mental health thing there, people feel guilty for their success right now. And I think we got to somehow, if each of us, what I've learned from this task force is that we're making a difference. And if it's just telling two people that story, that there are a lot of good news stories happening out there, that, it's not all bad. So, chin up, and the sun's coming out, and hopefully looking out the window here, but yeah, long weekend, and there's a lot of good things happening still.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Just wanted to thank you for letting me take the poverty reduction conference that I attended through the Social Recovery Task Force. And there is a lot of good things still happening. Unfortunately, it's the poor people that are suffering the most. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer with the type of job loss and the homes and stuff. But I think we can turn it around pretty easily if we all keep working together. And it was refreshing to hear from others the hope and the passion that they have to make a difference. Thank you.
Did you get the summary of the recording today, Susan, the email?
Oh, no, I didn't. I haven't probably checked my emails.
If not, email me and I'll forward it to you. But there's a recording of all the different sessions. So
Good, because I did miss them. It was a long conference.
I'll actually send it out to the whole task force in case people are interested in taking a look. If you have some spare time and want to watch some videos, they're really good.
Yeah, please do.
Awesome. All right. Well, next meeting will be June. We'll stick with our same time that people keep in their calendars, and we'll get together, have a bit of a celebration. We'll see. I don't know what restrictions are going to be like at that time. We'll play it by ear. If we can get together, like super distance, I don't know what's going to be allowed or not. We'll see. But watch your email, because we'll send out information as the date gets closer, and hopefully we can do something in person. And if not, maybe we'll just all wear party hats. We won't record maybe the next meeting. It'll just be a fun, not formal meeting to kind of kick off and celebrate all the work that we've done. Awesome. Any last words before we close the meeting for today? All right, so we're adjourning at 2:22, and